Prior video titled What to Expect Buying a High Mileage Hummer H2, I received a comment stating that it is all dependent on the prior owner. He also mentioned that he turns the key in the ignition and he goes. The issue that I have with that comment is that you are essentially placing all of your eggs into one basket. You're assuming that you're not going to have to do any maintenance to the vehicle. I had a subscriber recently post that they purchased their dream Hummer H2, their dream truck. 1 month after owning the vehicle, the transmission failed. It was out of warranty by a few days, and they are really upset about that. One of the topics that I have brought up in the past, and I'm going to continue to bring up, is that if you're buying one of these vehicles, I highly recommend setting aside $5,000 when you buy the vehicle. If you buy the vehicle for 10, you've got $5,000 to rebuild the transmission. That way, you're not in this position that the transmission is going to take a crap on you and you're stuck somewhere and you're frustrated. These transmissions, again, anything over 125,000 miles, it's a very, very big question mark. When it comes to the individual's comment, again, on it's all about the prior owner, to me, the prior owner is an important factor. It's a very important factor. However, it is only one of many factors when it comes to purchasing a Hummer H2. Some of the factors include how many prior owners were on the vehicle. Usually, less is going to be better. One prior owner, perfect. One prior owner. Was the vehicle kept inside a garage? Was the vehicle spending its whole life in, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Southern California, where it wasn't getting hit by rain, snow, sleet, salt, hail? The elements really, weren't going to destroy the vehicle. So location, mileage, prior owners, possible modifications to the vehicle. There are a host of factors, and the prior owner is one of them. And I know if I sat here, I could think of more factors when it comes to making a purchasing decision. I actually came across I think it was a one, possibly a two-owner. I think it was a two-owner Hummer H2 limited edition. It had about 80,000 miles on the vehicle. I think it might have been actually less than that. Regardless, it sold for like $6,500. The undercarriage was completely rusted out. I mean, it was jacked up, ladies and gentlemen. So when it comes to ownership numbers, here was a low mileage Hummer H2 that was completely rusted out. The dude didn't take care of the vehicle. I have seen high mileage Hummer H2s with close to 200,000. Actually, I've seen Hummer H2s with 300,000 miles, and the vehicle, it looks good as new. In my research, when it comes to ownership and miles, I have come across one post on the forum stating that someone went for a test drive on one of the Hummer H2s. The H2 had 300,000 miles, and the other H2 had, I think it was like 80,000 miles. The person test driving the Hummer H2s could not tell the difference in mileage when it came to the vehicle. For me, even if you did purchase a Hummer H2 that had a good prior owner, that's fantastic news to hear. Again, if they're in Texas, New Mexico, California, any place where it is sunshine mostly year round, they may never have gotten hit by water leaks. So if you live in a northern state or a place with rain, water leaks that may have never been addressed, you're going to have to address those. When it comes to U-joints, again, most people don't ever change their U-joints by just upgrading to Spicer U-joints. Now, is it necessary? No, I guess not. But if you want your vehicle to run on maximum efficiency, these are my recommendations for someone purchasing, again, a high mileage Hummer H2, or any Hummer H2 for that matter. U-joints. Most likely, the U-joints have never been replaced. I would want to replace those with high quality Spicer U-joints. AMSOIL fluids. I'm actually an independent AMSOIL dealer separate from corporate. You can get oil from me. Click on the link below. You put that oil in your vehicle, ladies and gentlemen, I kid you not, the difference is night and day. For me, I'm going to be upgrading all my fluids, the front diff, the rear diff. In all honesty, most owners never replace those. Transfer case, transmission, rebuilding the transmission. Now, if you search the Carfax, again, go on the Carfax, and sometimes a transmission shop who replaced the transmission will be listed on the Carfax. Give them a call saying, hey, did you guys replace this transmission? What quality parts? They may say, hey, yeah, we put high quality Sonex parts. That's a $5,000 transmission and parts. Boom, you just hit the jackpot. So just making a quick phone call, and maybe you have to pay them for the records. Again, that could save you. I'd much rather spend $100 trying to get prior records from a transmission shop than spend $5,000 on a transmission rebuild. Transfer case, those fluids need changed. When it comes to the oil, it's called liquid moly. You actually have to, run some detergent and get the oil, all the gunk cleaned out. Other things that, again, even if the prior owner was a good owner, I would want to do. I'd want to take this throttle body off, or air intake, and scrub it down. It gets jammed up with carbon, guys, and you really have to, get it clean. You take a big brush and you jam it in there, and you won't believe how much crap is built up in these things. Behind here, again, this gets gummed up behind here. You got to clean that. Air filter. My H2, prior owner was a good guy. He was driving around for like 6 months at the dealership. He wasn't a mechanical guy. He was a car salesman. He doesn't know about the engine. He said everything was running great, and let me tell you guys, it wasn't. It's running incredible. Now, this vehicle, if I had to rate how well this vehicle is running, I would say it's 10 out of 10. I kid you not. It's that smooth. It's that efficient. Again, these belts would need changed. Tensioner pulleys. They may or may not have an external transmission cooler. Oh, it's getting dark really quick. The battery, these systems, again, you may need to upgrade the battery. It's important to, what else? There's something else that's really important. This cover right here, okay, that all the coil packs are on, is a faulty design, and the oil doesn't flow properly. So what you actually have to do is buy a new piece, and you actually have to drill like 10 holes in it to get the oil to flow correctly. So again, if you want the vehicle to run on maximum efficiency and get the most out of the driving experience, most people, I'm telling you guys, most people from my research, I don't believe that they're getting the most out of their Hummer H2. Getting the vehicle tuned, that's something else. So when it comes to this vehicle and owners of the vehicle, I cannot say that it's going to be 100% dependent on the prior owner of the vehicle. So that's about it, guys. I really can't think of anything else to say. You know, here's something else. Actually, I take that back. Cleaning the interior. All right, when I took my interior out, again, and I washed these carpets, it was disgusting. You might have a rip in the fabric that needs replaced. Just unknowns. Like recently, my heater in the seat went, so I have to take the seat apart and fix the heater. And there's the unknown, guys, the question mark. So you may buy one of these Hummer H2s off an owner who, again, he or she may have taken really good care of the vehicle, and that's fantastic. That's wonderful. That's what you want. However, there's always going to be a big question mark. Just the unknown. Electrical gremlins popping up. Like for me, I had an issue, and it took me literally, I kid you not, months to track down. Actually, it was years. What it was an O-ring on a fuel injector came loose, you know, broke, snapped off, whatever. So the engine fire was being caused by an O-ring on the fuel injector. Something else, speaking of fuel injectors, that's something that I missed earlier, was when it comes to fuel injectors, over time fuel injectors get gummed up with carbon buildup and they don't run on 100% efficiency. Your options are replace the fuel injectors, you know, it's going to cost you $600-700, or you can send your injectors in for about $250 to get them refurbished. So you're gonna have to send your fuel injectors in, you know, to get them refurbished. Now, everything that I listed to you guys talking about in this video, you know, is it necessary? Is it 100% necessary? No. You know, you can run with the stock. Did I mention the fuel pump? The fuel pump needs change. Those are weak fuel pumps. Again, everything that I've listed, guys, most people, most owners are not going to be doing this stuff. Now, you could run with the fuel pump that's going to be on the vehicle. In all likelihood, you're not going to be getting fuel coming to the engine. Like when I hit the gas, guys, or I hit the pedal, boom, like the engine just roars. The gas is getting pumped in there. It's fantastic. The U-joints, technically you don't have to change those. You can run on the stock U-joints. Technically you don't have to change the fuel pump. You know, air filter, you're going to have to check that. I mean, technically you don't have to clean that. You don't have to clean that. You can run on the injectors. But let me tell you guys, everything that I just mentioned to you guys, you know, you're going to have to do with these vehicles. These vehicles are 20 years old. Maintenance schedules have been totally forgotten. The vehicles, I would say on average, have 7 owners, prior owners. And that's actually pretty common. I believe I think I'm like this 8th or 9th owner of this vehicle. As time goes on, the number of owners is, you know, that average number is only going to increase. So 20 years from now, the average owner on a Hummer H2 is probably going to be like 13, 14, maybe as high as, you know, 15. So I'd actually probably say 13. But so when it comes to prior ownership, again, that is just one of many factors. And if you guys think of any other factors, place them in the comment section. This video is over.